Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our Tuesday, May 5th, 2026 Clay County Planning and Zoning meeting. Just a few housekeeping rules. Tonight we'll hear one case. We'll begin with a report from the Planning and Zoning staff that will summarize the case prior to any discussion that the board members may have. We'll then ask the applicant to step forward to the podium and ask and answer any questions and present a support for their application. We ask the applicant to begin by stating their name and address for the record, as these meetings are recorded. We'll then ask for any public participation that may support the case being heard, and then anyone that may oppose the case being heard. Again, asking any participants to begin by stating their name and address. Could we begin tonight with a roll call?
Yes. Chairman Randall Morris.
Here.
Mark Bakes. Mike Brinkley. Larry Yateman.
Here.
Joanne Lawson.
Here.
Tom Decker.
Here.
David Rodas. And Tom Degenhart.
Here.
Thank you. Could we have a motion to approve the minutes of our March 3rd, 2026 meeting as presented?
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the minutes as written.
Is there a second?
I wasn't present.
I'll second it. Could we have a roll call vote, please?
Larry Yateman.
Yes.
Chairman Randall Morris.
Yes.
Joanne Lawson.
Yes.
Tom Decker.
Abstain.
And Tom Degenhart.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. The case we'll hear tonight is case number PZ 26-103, a request for rezoning from agricultural district to residential urban rural single family, RU 80. This district with an agricultural land preservation overlay district for only proposed lots 1 and 2, and residential rural district with an agricultural land preservation overlay district for only proposed lots 3 and preliminary and final plot approval for the proposed subdivision Doghouse Boys, located at approximately 12203 Northeast 120th Street. The applicant is Dennis Carter, Doghouse Boys, LLC. Could we have a staff report, please?
Yes, Chairman, I'd like to add a staff report as part of the official record.
So be it.
All right, so for our only case tonight, we're discussing a 3-lot subdivision. Currently, the property is roughly 19 acres, unplatted, zoned agricultural, and has access from Northeast 120th Street. The proposal is to divide this property into 3 different lots. Lots 1 and 2 would be approximately 3 acres and zoned the residential urban rural single family, or RU 80. Lot 3 would be approximately 13 acres, zoned residential rural, or R1. Lot 3 would also have an existing house, and lots 1 and 2 would become new buildable lots for a single family home. This property falls within the managed growth area of our comprehensive plan. The managed growth area tells us that we should reach out to the local jurisdictions for comments to be sure we're not doing anything that could inhibit future growth of these cities. For this case, we reached out to the City of Liberty, and they indicated to us that they have no concerns. And a little red dot, just kind of general location of where this property is located. What's on your screen right now is the approval criteria for rezonings. It's our standard approval criteria we go over with each of our cases, rezoning cases. This case is a minor development case. And Planning and Zoning Commission are the decision-making body for this case. What is on the screen is the approval criteria for the minor developments, and staff feels that the applicant meets that. Here's the surrounding area. So the subject properties there highlighted in yellow. There in the blue at the bottom of your screen is the city limits of Liberty. Going kind of diagonal there in the red, that is I-35. And then in the green, city limits of Kansas City. Just kind of give you a general idea of where we're talking. With these cases, we do our standard public notice requirements. We sent a total of 31 letters. We reach out to the proper outside agencies and receive no objections to the proposal. The staff believes that the final plat is compliant with the preliminary plat and meets section 151.3.6D of the 2011 Land Development Code. And staff is recommending approval with one condition, and that's changes to recording copies of the plat. Staff would be happy to answer any questions the commissioner may have, and the applicant is present.
Are there any questions regarding the staff report from members?
No, sir.
No. Okay. Would the applicant step forward, please, and state your name and address?
Dennis Carter, 12314 Carter Lane, Kearney, Missouri.
Do you have anything to present in support of your application?
No, just the fact that, I think everything meets the criteria and hope that you guys take the time to approve this. And I'd be
Okay.
happy to answer any questions you would have.
Do you understand the staff report, and do you have any questions about it?
No, I'd worked pretty diligently with them and to make sure that everything was straightforward when it came to y'all.
Okay. Does anyone on the board have a question for the applicant? Okay, thank you very much. We'll open the floor to public participation. First, we'll ask if there are any general questions about the application. Does anyone have questions? Yes, come forward. Please state your name and address for the record.
I'm Christine Smith, and I live a few doors down at 120th Street. I live at 11808 120th. And I've tried calling the Planning and Zoning Office just to talk about it, but I'm a teacher and I can't answer the phone during the day, so I've not talked to anyone. I just wanted to clarify, it's a single family, one home on each lot. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that that was clarified. I didn't want the 13 acres to be developed and have a whole bunch of little homes. And then other neighbors have brought up if there's going to be a road put into onto Fishing River Road from that plat. Okay.
Apparently not.
Okay, just wanted to clarify and make sure.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone present who wants to speak in favor of the application? Is there anyone present who would like to speak against the application? Okay, hearing none of that, we'll close the discussion to the floor and see what the members of the committee have to say. Any questions, concerns?
I don't think so.
Okay, so we can proceed to motions. We have 3 motions that we're going to need today. We're going to need motions for both the rezoning and then for the preliminary plat and for the final plat. Is there a motion for or against the rezoning from agricultural district to residential urban rural single district?
I'll make a motion to approve the request for the rezoning as presented in the staff's report.
I'll second.
Could we get a roll call vote, please?
Tom Decker,
Approve, or yes?
Tom Degenhardt,
Yes.
Larry Yateman,
Yes.
Joanne Lawson,
Yes.
and Chairman Randall Morris.
Yes.
Motion carries.
We need now a motion to approve or oppose the preliminary plat for Doghouse Boys with the conditions, I believe, as laid out in the Exhibit A.
I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion that we approve the preliminary plat for case number PZ 26-103 with the conditions stipulated by P and Z.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Could we get a roll call vote, please?
Larry Yateman,
Yes.
Tom Decker,
Yes.
Joanne Lawson,
Yes.
Tom Degenhart,
Yes.
and Chairman Randall Morris.
Yes.
All right, motion carries.
Finally, could we get a motion to approve or oppose the final plat of Doghouse Boys with the conditions laid out in Exhibit A?
No, you go ahead. You got that paper, right?
I'll make a motion that we approve the final plat with conditions for PZ 26-103.
I'll second.
Get a roll call vote, please.
Larry Yateman,
Yes.
Tom Degenhart,
Yes.
Joanne Lawson,
Yes.
Tom Decker,
Yes.
and Chairman Randall Morris.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Is there any other business?
So actually, yes, we have a second agenda item. So let me get the right deal pulled up here. Shane and I thought it might be a good time to touch on the comprehensive plan, since it's been a little over a year since the county adopted the new comprehensive plan. So I want this to be kind of informal. I'm just going to give you an update. Feel free to ask questions. I'm going to talk about what's occurred so far. Shane's going to talk about the goals and strategies that we're working on currently. And then I'm going to talk about the land development code a little bit as well. So the comprehensive plan was adopted in February of last year. It's called Clay County Compass 2040. And I know a lot of this will be a revisit for the board members. But basically, this guides the future of development in the unincorporated sections of Clay County for the next 20 years. My staff and I, typically Shane and I, use this document on a daily basis as people call the office or come into the office and want to subdivide their land. So the biggest thing that affects folks with the comprehensive plan is the land use and what lot sizes are allowed in what areas. So the comp plan includes different tiers, and in those different tiers, you can do different things. So there is, and I'll show you the map here, there is a buffer area, a 1 mile buffer around the cities, which is called the managed growth area. That is the area that we work with the cities to make sure that we are not subdividing or allowing land uses that the city does not want to see in that area, which would inhibit them from annexing in that area in the future if they chose to. Part of the comp plan does include an annexation map, so the cities have pointed out which areas they want. Shane talked about our previous case was in the managed growth area. We did reach out to Liberty, and they had no objections because they want large lot residential in this area. So you'll see some labeling there now. So the city review area is right around the city limits. There are areas that are five plus acres, which are kind of shown in the orange and the tan. Around Smithville Lake, it's a median lot size area, and we'll talk about that here in a minute. And in an effort to preserve some of the agricultural areas of the county, the far northern section is a 20 plus acre area, and then east of Liberty is in a 20 and a 40 acre area. And that's kind of just a zoomed in look at that map, just to give you an idea. Everything in gray is city limits. Then you have that buffer around the cities. It goes from 5 acres to median lot size to 20 acres to 40 acres. So you'll probably remember at the last couple meetings with the comprehensive plan, we got a lot of last minute input from some citizens. And in an effort to compromise with what we had already heard with the feedback from citizens, and then the concerns raised by those citizens at the very end, we came up with some additional options in each of those land use tiers. So I know there's a lot on the screen there, but I'm going to try to break it down the best I can. So this table starts with, and I'll see if I can mark here. Up here at the top, that's the 40-acre area. Then it goes to 20, the median lot size. So the farther you go down the chart, the smaller the lots get and the closer you get to city limits. And so these are options, like in the 40-acre area, these are options that are less than 40 acres. So where those fancy red tractors have jumped onto the screen, those are farmstead dwellings. So in all of those tiers that have the red tractor, you're allowed to do a 5+ acre lot that qualifies as a farmstead dwelling, which is a current house that exists if it was built before 1985. So let's say there's an old farmhouse on 50 acres in the 40-acre area. You can do a 5-acre lot around that farmstead house and then leave the rest of the acreage together. So it gives a little more flexibility to property owners in those 20-acre areas.
Could I
Go ahead.
Could I ask a
Yes.
question? What about if you had a 40-acre, could you carve out 5 and then leave 35 acres in the 40-acre area?
No.
Okay, so you have to leave 40 acres.
Yeah,
in
you
the
have to
40.
either leave 40 or meet one of these other options.
Okay, thanks.
So the second option I'm going to point out is where those trees just jumped up. That is a conservation district. So this is the only, when you think of a subdivision, the only true subdivision that the comprehensive plan talks about. Conservation district, I don't want to go into too many details, but it basically allows smaller lots if you preserve a certain percentage of open space of the overall acreage. So if you are outside that managed growth area, the only interior streeted subdivision that the comp plan allows is as a conservation district. And the reasoning there, the thinking there is, okay, we want to allow some development, but we also want to preserve open areas, ponds, streams, floodplain, things like that. Now, I don't think you're going to see these conservation districts jumping up everywhere because you have to have municipal level services for this subdivision, which means a private sewer system that serves the whole subdivision. So you can see that 4 of those tiers allow the conservation district. Then where that calculator just jumped up in those 4 tiers, that's where you can do a median lot size within a half-mile radius of the parcel you're looking at subdividing. And I'm going to show you an example of that here in a second, so I'll explain that here in a minute. And then that lower area, that's where we reach out to the city for their input. The comprehensive plan does not give a minimum lot size in that managed growth area. It basically says reach out to the city, make sure that they are good with the proposed development. So this is an example of a half-mile radius around this parcel right here. So this was actually a case you heard a couple months ago.
Yeah.
You can see, so they divided this into 3 lots. It had a 5-acre farmstead dwelling, if you remember, and then 2 9.08 acre lots. And we had the gentleman that lived over here somewhere, lived on the 10-acre lot, if you remember that, and was objecting to the case. So what this does is our GIS technician measures that half-mile radius, and then we look at that median lot size, which the thought there is we're supposed to match what's existing there already. So you can see a lot of these 9 and 10-acre lots. There's a 9-acre lot over here, and then there's also some larger lots. That one's 40 acres, 50 acres, but then you have these 4-acre lots, 3-acre lots in this area. So we ended up with that median lot size being right at a little over 10 acres, and you have to be within an acre of that median lot size to be consistent. So the applicant was able to do 9.08 acres.
Well, really though, if you took the average of all those big lots, I mean, are you averaging or just going median towards something you're connecting? to?
Median, not average.
Okay. Median, all right.
Because to your point, if you had a 500 acre lot and you average them, it's going to throw that off.
Exactly.
So
Okay.
that's why we chose median. Now, these are, and the reason we're showing this to you, we're supposed to revisit this with the commission at least once a year, the Planning and Zoning Commission. And these are things that we need to look at and say, hey, are they working? Are they not working? Because this needs to be an interactive document that we can make changes to as we move forward if things are not working.
You know, the thing that bothers me is that when you look at that previous slide that you had, and it talks, no, go one more. Back. Yeah, there you go. Pull it down a little bit. Look at the light green in the county.
That area?
In the unincorporated area. There's hardly any. And every time we turn around, we're making concession, and it keeps pulling that down and pulling that down. You did a lot of investigation, money, all of that, when the whole comprehensive plan was initially done. And then, after you did all that work and it looked phenomenal, then a bunch of developers came in and start crybabying about how, oh, you know, this is my family farm and we're not going to be able to have our kids live on it, and all of that hoo-ha that they came up with. And so we further degraded it, in my mind. And now it looks like we're trying to make more concessions. I just feel like you did the hard work to get it done the first time through. For me personally, I wish we'd leave it the hell alone and just go with what we've got. You know, there are going to be some strange extenuating circumstances we can take on a case by case. But I think when we do that, we need to be very diligent about how we make concessions to try to hold on to what Clay County, well, not Clay County, but our unincorporated area is. I just don't, it bothers me a lot that we keep making it smaller.
Yeah, so I think those are all good points. We did make some compromises to get the plan approved and try to get as many people on board as we can. Now, by no means are we saying that you have to change anything. Maybe this works great, and it can stay the way it is. So just wanted to mention that.
Could you speak to the issue of that last example that you used? Because afterwards, the person who was objecting to it or concerned about it on the 10-acre lot said that the difficulty is what you have is this eventual creep, because you're taking the median, and now you've added 2 new lots, or 3 lots to that, what's incorporated. And I believe you told me afterwards that after making that decision, it actually opened it up for somebody else who previously would not have been able to subdivide. Is that the case?
Close, yes. Part of that's correct. So let me go back to drawing here. This lot right here, I believe it's that one, 39 acres. Before this lot was subdivided, and I believe this is a 20-acre area.
Yes.
So this is in the northern part of the county. It's a 20-acre area. So before that lot was subdivided, they could do, I think the median came out to like 19 acres. So they could go just a hair under 20. After this subdivision was recorded, that number went down to 15 point something acres. So yes, it did come down. So they were able to subdivide before, but they could go smaller after that case. So yes, the way this is going to work, if it stays this way, is the lots eventually are going to get smaller and smaller. And all of this is, you know, it depends on what you want to see. whether you want to see lots that are 5 plus, 10 plus, 20 plus, and it be divided that way, and it never have interior streeted subdivisions, then you could look at it that way, that by doing these sort of things, you're probably not going to have this really small lots in this area. Or you can look at it the way you're looking at it, and yeah, there's going to continue to be development.
Yeah, and it'll just creep out.
Correct.
In perpetuity.
And, yeah, and to go, I mean, honestly, to go back to this map, that's eventually what should happen. Now, what the time frame on that, I don't know. But yes, we should get more dense lots here, then get slightly bigger here, slightly bigger, and then to large lots. But is Clay going to fully develop it where it's a bedroom community and no farmland? I truly understand Commissioner Lawson's concern with the ag land going away and away.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
But yeah, I brought that up at that hearing. I was like, well, why do we have this 20-acre rule? And your response is, hey, citizens showed up, but we know those are probably developers and stuff disguised as citizens.
Yeah.
But, they,
Yeah, they had those glasses on with the fake mustache.
real estate, I don't know, I get it. But yeah, I do think there's some value in protecting ag land. And the thing is about that, I went in and approved it, and we all did, but we were comping that to those small lots that were platted in the 70s before we ever had a comprehensive plan.
Yeah.
So in a way, it's the outlier there, but it's going to force that new normal in that 20-acre area. So, it's probably bad that we allowed that,
Yep.
given how long ago that subdivision was created.
And so, yeah, I would tell you as a board, keep an eye on that, see how many cases that we present to you that uses that, and then we can revisit that if needed. And that land use map could be amended and changed. But to Mr. Yateman's point, yes, that subdivision right there that had those 2 and 3 and 4 acre lots was done in the 70s.
Yeah.
They just didn't sell the lots until recently. So now the people in this area think there's a lot of development because they're getting new houses on those lots, even though it was done in the 70s.
Yeah.
So I know I've taken up quite a bit of time already. So I'm going to talk just real quickly. You as a board most likely are going to start seeing some interior streeted subdivision applications. We have been meeting with developers. Each case is a little bit different, but I just wanted to touch on that because I would expect to have some conservation district applications and have possibly some applications in that managed growth area, which is really close to the cities, where I want you to be aware that staff's perspective will be, if it's consistent with the comprehensive plan, the city doesn't object or supports the application, they've gotten all their approvals from Road and Bridge, Health Department, Water District, and they're meeting all of the county standards. Staff is going to recommend approval of those interior streeted subdivisions, assuming they are meeting everything. Now, when those cases come in front of the board, these are the criteria that you will look at, that Shane mentioned with the previous case, but they kind of become more important with those cases where we have a lot of input from the citizens, because it really shouldn't matter if there's 100 people in this room. If the application meets these criteria plus meets the comp plan, they've done their due diligence, then it should be approved. However, if the neighbors or the people opposing show that it would result in a significant, and that's to me the key term, because generally they argue this last one right there, where it's going to have a significant adverse impact on their property. But so if they show that it is, then yes, you can deny that application. But I just want to stress that these are the criteria that we'll be looking at, and also understand that a lot of times staff does not hear a lot of the opposition before the night of the meeting.
What makes it, whether or not the proposed amendment corrects an error or inconsistency? Now, who decides that?
So I think staff would point that out if it does. That's generally not going to play a role to me in the cases. It's, for that criteria, it's more of the second part, meets the challenge of a changing condition in the area. So to me, I would look at, like, are they proposing a subdivision that's right next to city limits where it is a changing condition? There are subdivisions within a half mile. That's more important to me on that criteria. I don't know if Andy has any comments on that, but generally, it's not going to correct an error or inconsistency. But that's a
Okay.
good question.
And your second one, that kind of says it all, whether the proposed amendment is consistent with the comprehensive plan. So if it is, then there's not a problem, at all. But if it isn't consistent, and the other thing we keep, maybe we're not taking into effect here, is the roads. What kind of traffic it's going to have. I think back to the guy that wanted to put those real small lots coming off of, like around WHB and 92. My gosh, that would have, can't even imagine what kind of traffic it would have pulled in with 40-some houses right there. But, I think that we're here to really watchdog what happens long-term for this county. And I think that we should be overly diligent in the decisions that we make, because what we do today is going to be real impactful 5-10 years down the road, both on our roads, on all of our services. I don't know. I think we stick with what we got. We deal with inconsistencies, or not inconsistencies, but unusual circumstances on a case-by-case basis. And quit altering this thing, because why do we pay all that money and do all that hard work to get it done, and then we aren't really sticking to the law, so to speak?
But on the other hand, we can alter it in ways that
I'm
improve
sorry?
it. We can alter it in ways that we see to improve it, because we might feel that the way the comprehensive plan was approved a year ago is not working. And it could be things like that this is leading to creep. Maybe we want to suggest changing the half-mile median average,
Yeah.
because it's having detrimental consequences. So I don't think this is a case of keeping this plan the way it is and then dealing with it case by case,
Yeah.
because we may not like the consequences of keeping the plan the way it is. So we want the ability to alter that plan if we can do it in ways that actually improve it.
Well, to me, that's what we're here for. I mean, a case comes in, we see the value or not the value of it, and then you make your decision. I don't know that, I just don't.
And if
That's just personal.
If I can address a couple of your topics. So staff is going to be really, what's the right word? We're going to be really clear whether we believe the case meets the comprehensive plan or not. We will, in that report, we will tell you, yes, we believe this meets the comprehensive plan, or we believe it doesn't, and here's why it doesn't. And then, I lost my train of thought. I don't know, I lost it.
That's all right. It
So
happens.
young, so can't remember.
Yeah, it'll come to me.
Downhill from here.
Will there be any cases in which it doesn't meet the comprehensive plan that people actually continue pursuing it?
Most likely, yes. A lot of times, as blunt as Shane and I are in the pre-application meeting, they will not listen to us, and they think that they will be able to convince you, standing in front of the board, that they should be approved for something that doesn't meet the comp plan. And that reminded me of the other item, so thank you. So I'm going to throw Tom under the bus here. So to your point about roads, when we receive an application for new streets or a bunch of lots, we reach out to Road and Bridge, the Water District, whoever it affects. So we're relying on Road and Bridge to say, hey, we can't maintain any extra roads now. And if that's the comments that come back, then we're going to say, hey, no, you should not approve this. Or if the Water District says they've got to extend the water main, half mile, and the developer's not willing to do it, then we're going to say, no, you shouldn't do this. So we involve those experts. They come back to us and tell us whether they can provide service. And that's this criteria right there. Actually, I can't draw. Talks about being able to provide service to those additional lots. So if it's determined they can't, then yes, we should not approve that subdivision.
Kind of back on that 20 acres and the example of the Westfall near the old development, I guess I'd like as a commissioner the flexibility that just because it meets the new median rule that to stop this mission creep, right? Just because it meets it doesn't mean we have to vote for it. But I guess I'm afraid that if it meets all the standards and then we all vote no, they'll just try to get it overturned or sue us or something.
Yeah, so to me, the main function of this board is to make sure it is consistent with the comprehensive plan and the land development code. And if it meets all those criteria, it should be approved.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we have bad regulations and to.
Amend that to where we don't have to do it because of the median lot size. That
Correct. If that becomes a
somehow manage to
problem,
get there.
then that's what Mr. Morris is talking about, then maybe that would need to be changed.
Let's put that in the suggestion box if you don't mind. Because I do see where that old development could really start the ball running out there in that one area, and it probably could happen in others, I suppose. The other thing, we're worried about the managed growth area, and we're consulting awful hard with what the cities want with their future development and annexation and stuff. But I tell you what, they don't consult the county at all when they decide to annex something. And I guess I wish we weren't Cowtown to what we think their future needs are. Because the more we can go and get it busted up in 10-acre lots, then the less density they can jam into these areas at the future. Unless you like density, and some people I know they might. I don't, but.
Well, and from a planning, I get where you're coming from, but from a planning perspective, it makes total sense to include the cities, not do something that's going to inhibit them from annexing. As much as people don't like annexation, it's part of proper development, unfortunately.
Well, like we've got that managed growth area, and part of it says 5 acres, yet I know for a fact that one developer is told, just go annex it into the cities.
That's right.
And they did, and they can now, once they annex in, forget that we wanted 5-acre plots. It now could be whole subdivisions of high density once it's in the city limit. I don't know. Yeah, that's why I wish we're making these plans, but the second the city annexes, it's out the window.
Yes.
So why do we cater to them that hard, or why do we even make a plan if we're going to cater that hard to them? But that's my only concern, and maybe I'm crazy, right? But there's no two-way street there from the cities,
Correct, because typically properties don't de-annex. So if something was going to de-annex, then I would hope they would include the county, but I get your point.
Once you're in, who can really de-annex, right? But, yeah, so I don't know. That's, I don't mind the plan, the way the comprehensive plan is, based on the acreages and stuff they're talking about. I just think it's not, there's a lot of wiggle room there for people just to run right around our long-term plan.
Well, and the reason we're bringing this up tonight is to just plant the seed in your head as you hear these cases on a monthly basis. Consider the comprehensive plan, and if you believe there needs to be changes, then I think step one would be individually reach out to P&Z staff. I don't want to steal Shane's thunder. Shane is going to talk about the goals and strategies of the comp plan. So if you don't have any more questions for me.
Mr. Jones, might it be better that we hold this till perhaps next month and try to get the entire board here for that?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
if that's what the board wants to do.
Because we're missing a number of people, and I think it might be a good idea, so we don't have to
Good point.
revisit it again.
Okay.
So,
Okay, no, that's fine. We'll add it to our next agenda. I don't think we're going to have a meeting next month, is that correct? Yeah, it doesn't look-
whatever our next meeting is.
Okay, so be prepared for a longer meeting next time we have a meeting, and
Okay.
we'll bring it. And if you have questions before then, let me know.
Great. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Okay, the meeting's adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.